Hi there, my name is Chris Macdonald. I'm leading an option studio this spring entitled Contested Landscapes Provisional Architecture. Now, this first image is from an installation, a series of installations by Maya Lin called the Confluence Project, this particular one at Cape Disappointment. And it's a series of public art pieces that invite a kind of public participation that intertwine the oral traditions of the local First Nations and the same geographies as narrated by the explorers Lewis and Clark a little over 200 years ago. This particular installation is within a public park, and this is a kind of lookout point along a pathway that complements the preceding slide. The preceding slide is a kind of abstracted version of a fish cleaning station. So this idea of public space and the idea that such a landscape represents a measure of social consensus, that we're in a moment when building consensus seems problematic. And then to go on, that there are two important themes that are highlighted. First, an understanding that public space is fundamentally defined by the intersection of diverse interests, that public landscapes are endlessly being contested and reformulated, which could perhaps be understood as a way of saying that there are simultaneously many publics. Second, to recognize that against this fluid interplay of community concerns is the uncertain dynamic of our future together as the consequences of climate change unfold. If a first declaration of public interest is observed in the definition of appropriately convivial programs of use, the accessibility of these activities must, of course, also be carefully calibrated and allied to the qualities of local geography. The context in which we'll be observing these issues will be the damaged structure of Vancouver's Kitsilano pool and its situation in a public parkland adjacent to the shoreline. This remarkable setting plays a long-standing and significant role in the creation of local cultural memory, but also speaks very directly to First Nations histories that occur across a much vaster historical arc. Consideration of these intersecting narratives will initiate observations of site and hopefully encourage the diversity of proposed programs made by studio participants to be considered in our designs. The very fact of the pool's current structural failure as a direct consequence of climate change is a reality that unquestionably will also affect the nature of what we observe and ultimately what we imagine. There's a couple of references there which might help illuminate the studio's intentions, and will be followed by some other readings that will provide a kind of critical context in which we begin the studio. Kind of pragmatically, the order of operations will be first to discuss public space in the context of these readings and make individual suggestions of currently productive conditions of public space in Vancouver. Secondly, a short project where we'll construct a camera obscura, giving us a new tool of observation. And this will be followed by an extensive site visit. That in turn will be followed by individual suggestions of likely public occasions that would occur on this site in the future. And then from all of the kind of potpourri of proposals for likely public programs that could occur here, each individual student will form an array of programmatic promises and develop that along with the site strategy as a first foray into the design project itself. I'm hoping that we'll have time to take the project to a level of some considerable detail. So it could be the calibration of a handrail, a piece of furniture, a study of lighting, etc. But something beyond just the resolution of the artifacts of the proposed architectural or landscape interventions. There's just a couple more illustrations of this kind of public installations and swimming baths along the shoreline. This one by Alvaro Siza in Portugal, which I hope you will know or soon come to know. And then one of a very beautiful series of so-called ocean pools, which exist predominantly in New South Wales. This one is in Sydney, but also other parts of the shoreline in Australia. And they're geographically very precise because there will be a swath of beach concluded by a headland and a kind of outcropping of rock. And then associated with that rock will be one of these ocean pools and related changing rooms and the like. I think it should be, the topic itself, I think, is timely and provocative. I think this site is, one would have to say, kind of magnificent, and the ability to kind of make a reappraisal of what might go on there and how that might refresh our sense of public occasion, both now and in the future, I think is an exciting prospect. I'm looking forward to meeting you, and again, I'll be there to answer any questions you may have on Monday. I'm just going to conclude with a kind of provocative statement by the artist Vito Acconci. This is at the time that Vito Acconci with Stephen Hall are making the facade for the storefront for art and architecture in New York City. The establishment of certain spaces in the city as, quote, public, serves as a reminder, serves as a warning that the rest of the city is not. Anyway, thank you so much.